Hey guys, welcome back to Not Another SEO Guru. My name is Daryl Osborne. Appreciate you being here. So today we're going to talk about the part two in the series that we started just a little while ago. And this is called the Drive Image Hack. So if you know, if you don't know, Drive images, images that you upload to Google Drive folders, they retain their metadata. So we utilize this in several different ways. Uh, Not only for things like embeds and things we do in our local search process, but going even further, there are ways to manipulate the metadata of the image in your favor. So tying this in with our overall theme of schema, we have a very specific way to add schema to these images, but also other data that we know that Google will look for and also digest and recognize that is part of the image and is an actual element of the image. So I'm going to show you a simple process to do this, to amplify and improve your image quality in terms of what you're doing to support your entity and utilize these as a more useful entity element rather than just a plain vanilla image that has, you know, much lower value than if you were to do this process. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a public Google Drive folder. Now, this is not going to Google Drive, going new folder, and changing the sharing so that it is findable on the web. We want this actually to be, or sorry, findable with the link. We want this to be indexable and actually fully public. Um, and you can't do that easily with just the generic creation tool within Google Drive. So for this, I mean, there's a few ways we can do this through tools. You can do this directly through the API if you are so inclined. My preferred method is to use one of the tools from the ranking store called Backlink Factory. It makes it very simple to create these folders and make them public. So as well as other things, but folders are one of the first things that we do. And when we're doing other processes, like I said, with like, for instance, the surge process, creating a local public Google Drive folder is something that we do very early on because everything gets built within that folder. And the folder itself can be embedded. It also can and does rank as its own element. So if we go to Backlink Factory, I'm not going to do a tutorial necessarily on how to use this tool. I will just show you very quickly on how we create the folder. We just go into the Sheets module and we just change this to the right account, parent folder name. So this is typically going to be something that is branded to the client. It could also be brand plus keyword, brand plus keyword plus geo, that kind of thing. But in this case, I'll just choose something randomly. So let's just call it Not Another SEO Guru Test Folder 1A. How's that? And we're going to keep that. We have to give the sheet a file name, and we have to put something in here, or at least I do, to just give it that first cell. The sheet will get deleted. It's just the process to get this created. And that's it. So let's just hit go, upload, I'm sorry. And then what'll happen now is it'll create the folder, and then it'll create the sheet that goes inside the folder. So in just a moment, you'll see it will come back with the completed information. So usually doesn't take very long, and then we'll have what we need to go to the next step. So we should be almost ready. Let's just make sure that's getting done. Let me just pause this for a second. Okay, so I had to pause that just for a sec. I had to go and reauthorize my Google account connection to the tool. Now we're good to go. So you can see we have the folder link and we have the spreadsheet. So now if I click on this, let's go directly to that. And you can see, so we have this Google Sheet that got placed in here. I'm just going to delete that. Okay. And you can see that the properties of the folder is public on the web, and that's what you want. That allows you uh, full ability to not only show up as a rankable asset, but it gives us the permissions that we want. For everything that's going to be within this folder will now inherit these permissions. So that's why we start with this repository and we build things within this repository. So going back to the images. So what can we do to add SEO value and entity value to an image? Well, there's a tool that we use which makes this very easy. It's certainly not the only one, but it makes this is one that we personally use. It's called Visual Watermark Pro. Now I have the premium version. It's very, very low cost to get this. It's like a one-time fee, 29 bucks or something like that. I don't have an affiliate link for you. Just search Visual Watermark and you'll see. And we want to do a couple of things with our images. So usually with a client project, we'll have a series of images that we'll prepare, and that gets used within other different types of activities. One of which, like I said with Surge, for instance, is we'll prepare 5 to 10 images, and they will live inside the Google Drive folder, and they will be utilized with that process. So they'll get embedded on the Google site that we create. They'll get added to other things like Google My Map pins. It goes on and on. But the process to actually enhance these images is fairly simple. The first thing you're going to do is load up the tool, and then you're going to drag your photos or click on select images and go to the directory and choose your photos. So in this case, I've just got like a very, just a sample image. Hold on one sec. Let me just grab this. Hold on one second. Okay, so I had to manually put the URL in here because it wasn't letting me drag and drop for some reason. Um, Sometimes when you're doing these videos unscripted, all this stuff happens, right? When you're doing things live, but that's okay. We just roll with it. Things just occur and we just work around it. So we got to where we're going to get to. So this is just a very sample image, right? I just want to show you the process. If you load multiple images, you'll see all these different bubbles with all the images, but in this case, we just have the one. So we go next step. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we want to add a logo. So we add basically 3 things to this image. Number 1 is a watermarked logo of the brand. The second is a text box with name, address, phone number information from, say, like the Google business profile. And the third thing is a QR code. And the QR code it's considered a logo in terms of adding it here. But the QR code links to the Google business profile. And there's multiple ways that you can do that with the different types of links that go to the Google business profile. There's the Maps CID link. There's the long link in the address bar when you visit a profile. There's the short share link. There's the place ID link. There's multiple different ones. My favorite is probably the place ID or the long link in the browser, and the long link is the one we're going to use in this instance. So if we bring up any, and this is just, like I said, very much for an example. So I'm just going to bring up any random business. Let's just say Chilliwack Roofing, whatever. Just whatever, right? It's this link, this big long link that we want, and we're going to go to free QR code generator. Now, this is not the only one, but it's the one that I like to use. So like this, and keep in mind, there's a lot of different types of links that you can create QR codes from. So we won't get into that today, but just know that there's a lot more you can do than just a website link. So all we do is we just drop in our long link. So just copy, paste, and just like that, it creates the code. Now, you don't need to log in. You don't need to sign up. All you need to do, now you do if you want to do some of the more fancy things like adding the logo in the middle and all that sort of thing. But you don't need to in this situation. It automatically generates the code anyway. So all we do is we just go to like the snipping tool in Windows or whatever screenshot program you have that allows you to draw a border around the target, and you just take a screenshot. Okay. At this point, you just want to save it. So we'll just, yeah, that's fine. We'll just do that. That's fine. Okay. So that's all we need. And what we're going to do here is go back to our watermark program, and we're going to click Add Logo, load logo from file, and we're going to go to downloads, and we're going to just take that one that we just did. Okay. We're going to bring the size down, and let's just put it in the corner. And then I like to make it semi-transparent. So about 40% transparency is good. And that's good. So the second thing, let's add a logo. Now this is where I'm just going to grab that file again. Let me do this. Sorry, I have to keep pausing because I want to make sure that sensitive data doesn't get shared in terms of client stuff. So I'll be right back. So I grabbed the logo that I wanted. Let me just add that in really quickly. And again, this is just very much an example. So let's do, sorry. So my antivirus decided to block the download of the logo file. So we got it now, we're good. Let's just go back to where we were, and we're going to open this up. So in this case, again, let's just reduce this down, and let's make this semi-transparent. So about 40% again. Okay. Now, if you're dealing with multiple images, I'll show you something that you should do within here that makes this work better. So add text. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to grab some of the information here. Usually I keep this white because in most cases that will show up. And then we just grab some of the information from the GBP. Now, usually this becomes really long, so I just kind of separate that into 2 lines. Copy the website. I don't always put the website in. They made a mistake here. Well, they have to update that, so there's an issue. Phone number. I changed this. I don't like the +1 thing. I changed this to be brackets. You know, for North American numbers, that's typically how it's going to be. And then let's just grab that last piece, which is the plus code. Okay. And that's it. So now we can just kind of move this, and that's good. So that's about right. You can mess around with making this a little bit more contrast, but honestly, it's not a big deal. And that's it. Now, let's go next step. So like I said, if you were dealing with multiple images, there would be another option here. to automatically, there's a checkbox to automatically resize the elements that you've added in. And that's good because if you have an image that's very large and then another one that's much smaller, you want them to look consistent in terms of what you're overlaying. So that will help in that case. Okay, so all we do now is we just click watermark photos. I like to basically keep it all like this. Okay, before I do that, I'm just going to change the directory, and then I will come right back and we can go to the next step. Okay, let's click the button, watermark photos. Away we go. So let's click open the folder. Okay, so there's the photo. Let's just double click and you can see what it has done to it. So you can see it's got this information. Now, we're not done yet, but I want to show you something. If you've never looked at the Cloud Vision API, I want to show you what type of information that this picks up from our new photo. So let's just bring this over here and let's drag this on. Looks like that might be too big. Hold on. So let me do one thing. Let's reduce the size. Compressor.io is one that I really like. Okay. So let's bring this over. How big did this get? Yeah, that's too big. That's okay. So let's just drag it here, and what will happen is this will automatically compress. So down to 1.3, that's much better. Let's download that. It's good to do this before you do anything else. So let's bring that there. Perfect. Okay, let's try this again. Sorry. Yeah, perfect. So I'm just going to reduce my screen a little bit so you can see. Do the I'm not a robot thing. Okay, so objects, it absolutely recognizes that this is a barcode. Labels, so you can get an understanding of the things that Google's picking out from your image. And this also helps you if you are utilizing a series of images that you want to have closely aligned to your topic. By checking them in this API, you can determine how closely they relate. And if you start to see a whole bunch of stuff that's completely off topic, then I would probably choose a different image. Text, so it has completely picked up, block 1 Chilliwack roofing. It has picked up everything we've given it. And then this piece, as you can see, it's picked up everything here. So that supports what we are trying to achieve with adding meaningful data to the image. Now, we're not done yet. So let's go further. And what I've got here is just a very sample schema. This is actually a place schema, but this is designed more for the image. So we have image object, we have a bunch of things in here. Now this is obviously not for this particular image. This is more for an auto repair, but I don't care at this point. What we're going to do is we're just going to grab this schema. Now the quick and dirty way is to do this through your image properties. The better way is to use something like image metadata factory with the ranking store, or even like Adobe Bridge is another really good one because it allows you deep access to a lot of the exif data in that way. So let's just do this the quick way, just so you can see. Okay, so let's just right click. Let's go properties. Okay. Now details. One thing I will say is usually when I first start with these images, I will go through some sort of a sanitation procedure and I'll remove all the exif data. So a good tool for that is like batch purifier, but all that sort of thing. So in this case, let's just do it in the comments and let's throw that in. Okay. And then hit apply. And like I said, if you use like Adobe Bridge, you can access a lot more of this data. But in this case, that's all we're going to do today. Okay, you definitely want to give it a title, alt text, all that sort of thing. But watch what you put in there. That's again another topic. But let's go properties and just check. There it is. Let's give it a title anyway. Let's call it roofer repairing strata roof in Chilliwack, BC. Just something to have there. Okay, apply, okay. Now, to put this on Google Drive is super easy. All we're going to do is go to Google Drive, drop the file in. So let's just do this. Okay, so it's going to upload, it's going to finish, and there's our file. If I click on it, you'll see. So it's picked up the title in the description. Now, what about the schema? Is this actually present once you upload this to Google Drive? Well, let's find out. Let's actually re-download this and check. So let's download. And let's overwrite the image that we uploaded in the first place. So replace it. So now we have replaced that image with the one that was on Google Drive. Okay, so let's check this image. We'll just refresh the screen. Let's right click, properties, details, and there we go. So we have title, subject. Now keep in mind, sometimes this happens is where Google will duplicate this, and I'm okay with that. In this particular demonstration, normally I would go through, like I said, and I would go through like Adobe Bridge or metadata factory, and I would greatly expand upon this. But here you go. It did not strip away the data we put in. And I've heard this so many times, and I really want to put this to bed. It does not strip it away. I'm showing this to you like real time, January 26, 2025. Your Google Drive images, the metadata is preserved, the schema is still here. Please, let's put that to bed. Unless something actually changes, I will let you know. But this is valuable, right? We want to make sure what we put here and what we're doing to this image becomes something that you can utilize in your other processes. And that is essentially the drive image hack. So what we've accomplished here is we have greatly amplified the entity capability in terms of a support for these images by adding brand, so the logo, the QR code pointing to the GBP, and the NAP data as a text overlay within the image. So I hope that helps you guys. We'll talk to you soon. We'll be back with part 3, and that is going to be, just to remind you what part 3 is, the RSS hack. I think you're going to really like that one. As always, I appreciate your support. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you very much. Have a great day.